今日好開心，我哋請到 Gwyneth 同我哋一齊做一個聖 Catherine 嘅 sharing。不如你介紹一下自己先啦。
Hello, my name is Gwyneth. I left to the UK in 2021 to study sixth form. I went to South Island School in Hong Kong and I did my GCSEs here. Then I moved to St to study biology, chemistry and psychology. And now I'm at the University of St Andrews studying medicine.
So why do you choose St Catherine's?
I actually didn't really want to move to the UK. I was really set in staying in Hong Kong. But my mum helped me find lots of different schools that we applied to. And she particularly liked St Catherine's firstly because she saw that it had a dance school. The more she looked into it, the more she fell in love with it. She loved their ethos, she loved the little passage that the headmistress wrote about St Catherine's. Then we applied to St Cat's. It was honestly the best move I've ever made in my whole life. I'm so thankful that my mum made that change for me because I grew so much at St Cat's and there were so many opportunities for me. I loved all the extracurricular, it kept you so busy. Literally, I would have something to do at 7 o'clock, we had flute choir, and then you'd go to your lessons, and then during lunchtime you would have netball training, and then after school you would have orchestra or wind band or whatever you were part of. And I loved that busy life. I was running around to do this and then to do that. The other thing that really stood out to me was when I first joined, everyone was so kind. It wasn't anything I was expecting. I was expecting to find it really difficult to settle in, to find my people. Everyone was really nice to me.
What do you study for your A-levels?
So I studied biology, chemistry and psychology. And I didn't know I wanted to study medicine until after I joined sixth form. So I chose those subjects purely based on the fact that I loved biology, I loved sciences, so I chose chemistry because it also gives you the most opportunities. And psychology because I took it for GCSE, so I thought it would help me out. I loved biology, so that was completely fine. I struggled a lot with my chemistry, purely because it was so difficult. But staff at St Cat's hold clinical sessions with you, and so if you don't know anything, you just go back to the class, lunchtime, break time, whenever, and they'll have staff there to go through something that you didn't understand in classes or to go through your test with you to see where you went wrong. In my second year especially, I ended up going to a lot of chemistry clinical sessions.
Why do you choose A-levels over IB?
Two very different methods of examination, and it's different for everybody, I guess. By doing A-levels, you just study the material and then you do your examination. Whereas I felt IB, firstly you had to take all these extra subjects that I didn't really want to take. For example, to take language and to take math, it wasn't for me. And also I heard that it was a lot of, you had to use your own creativity and you need to be inspired by something in order to get the top grades. And so that's why I opted to take A-levels.
So how do you manage your daily routine as a sixth form?
I think in sixth form we have a lot more freedom with your schedule. I am an early riser. We all have whiteboards in our dorms, and so a lot of us have big schedules on our dorms of what we do every single day. You just have to ensure that to keep on top of your studies, you're consistent, I think is the thing that I learned the most. I used to get up at 5:30 to 6 in the morning, so I would do my revision just before school started. They also had a yoga session in the morning, which at 7 I think. I participated in that. So the weekend was mostly all the international students. They provided us with opportunities to go on lots of activities during the weekend. So if you thought, oh, my study schedule is quite light, they did one to Thorpe Park, I think. They also did one, we always do a winter wonderland trip in Christmas, which everyone loves. The other thing that actually I remember that's quite special about St Cat's is every Friday they do a Sainsbury's shop, and our boarding house mistress drives us to Sainsbury's so we can buy lots of food and we're allowed to cook during the weekends. So cooking in sixth form is only a weekend thing. That's why they provide us that Sainsbury's trip.
So I know you're in St Andrews studying medicine. St Catherine give you any supports on those?
Oh, yeah.
UCAT, interviews, personal statements.
They gave us so much support. I'd just done my UCAT, which was subpar, it wasn't great, and the teachers just told me, it's fine, don't worry, let's work on your personal statement, then we'll do your interview practice. I had loads of support for my personal statement from my house mistress and also from my tutor. They sat down with me, they went through everything, literally word by word, everything that I wrote and questioned me on all the sentences. Should this sentence be in there? Should it not be in there? And then afterwards came interview practice. This was also quite challenging because I didn't really know much about studying medicine. They held these massive sessions we had interview practice, they presented us like an MMI situation and we went around in circles testing each of the questions. We had all the staff asking us a separate MMI, but this was on Zoom so we could experience the virtual interview process. We also spoke with a doctor who came in and he really grilled us. This was really tough. He really grilled us on why do you want to be a doctor, how to make your answers better, and we would just say our answers out loud in front of everyone, which was quite scary at the time. but you learn from each other. It gave me more confidence to apply to this subject because I understood more and I learned more from this process. At the end, I didn't get an offer. My teacher said, don't worry, it's fine. Think about what you can do for your gap year. I applied to be a boarding assistant at Heathfield School, so that was really valuable experience. Second time round of applications, I still had support from St Catherine's. They had a PQA supervisor who helped me with applying to university, and actually this time round it was easier to get my place because I'd done the whole process again once. Now that I think back to it, my advice would be if you're not ready to apply to university and to go, taking a gap year is completely fine. It taught me so much and the whole process was so much smoother. I could really work on my personal statement, my UCAT, because I knew what was coming up and I knew how to best prepare for it. So obviously do that application round the first time round, but if you don't want to take it, doing it a second time, there's nothing wrong with it.